Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, September 25th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Over 400 medical students from islands ravaged by the recent hurricanes will take up classes here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines this week at various medical schools. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as he spoke on WFM's Shake Up earlier today, giving an update on the relief effort underway in both the BVI and in Dominica. Prime Minister Gonsalves said the medical students from Dominica attending the All Saints University will take up studies at the institution's branch here.
We're going to have shortly, some have come already, not many, close to 400 students. The largest number of those from All Saints University in Dominica, the medical school, they're going to be accommodated here at the All Saints. Most of that, close to 400, are Nigerians, but you have other nationalities. The All Saints Medical School here is making the arrangement for their housing and the like. Don't know whether they're going to spend 6 months a year. That is going to depend on
the recovery in Dominica.
Oh yes, how they recover in Dominica.
Yes.
The Prime Minister further outlined that students from the St. James University in Anguilla will also be in SVG to take up classes at the local branch of the medical school.
Out of Anguilla, we are having almost 70 persons, 60 out of them from students and 4 or 5 faculty members, professors from the St. James University branch in Anguilla. They're coming here to St. James Medical School. So in terms of medical students, we'll have a number close to 500 additional ones.
Yes, yes.
Obviously, those medical schools would make the arrangements for their accommodation and so forth, and I suspect that they're hiring many apartment buildings and the like. They probably might, obviously they have to hire in different locations because they wouldn't get all
in one spot
at one place.
Yes.
Given an update on the relief effort underway in Dominica and the BVI, the Prime Minister said that a barge filled with supplies have reached its destination, adding that it is hoped that another shipment will soon be sent to Dominica with much needed supplies.
And on Saturday, we sent just over 4 tons of flour and rice and the cereal by ECGC, you know, the wheat cereal and,
yes,
and milk, evap and condensed milk, to Dominica on a cargo plane from the Venezuelan government. On that plane were 37 Palestinian professionals who are in Latin America, and they're there, doctors, Red Crescent, technical people of one kind or another.
Yes.
Tomorrow, another vessel is going up to Dominica, and we need to put food and water again. They need a lot of water.
The government and people of Venezuela came in for a high praise for the assistance being provided to the hurricane-ravaged countries. The Spanish-speaking country is joining forces with SVG and other countries in sending relief supplies to Dominica. Speaking from the Argyle International Airport in welcoming visiting Venezuelan and Palestinian delegations was Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who stated that the government of Venezuela has put in an heroic effort in giving assistance to those in need.
The Venezuelan ambassador is here, and I had said earlier when I was speaking with the press that Venezuela has been heroic,
yes,
in its solidarity.
Absolutely.
And that they, like Cuba, have taught us that in solidarity you do not give from the extras you have, but you give from the little that you have.
Absolutely.
And without Venezuela and the planes and other forms of assistance, life would have been possible, yes, far more difficult. This, for instance, would not have been possible. And other things would not have been possible. True. And I want to thank the Venezuelan government and people. I want to thank my brother Nicholas. And I want to thank the pilots who have brought this plane here. And I wish them Godspeed in Dominica.
The Palestinian ambassador Linda Sobe Ali, who highlighted the level of assistance her country will be given, expressed elation at the opportunity to assist a nation in need.
And this is a joint venture. We have with us clothing, medication, water, food supply. We have some tents, some electric generators, and the most important thing of Palestine, we have the human resource. We have the capacity, we have doctors, civil defense, and we have rescue teams. We have the Red Crescent with us also helping, hopefully, and a lot of humanitarian aid. Hopefully, after finishing the island of Dominica, we will be heading back to St. Vincent, and hopefully our doctors will be doing the job they needed to do a few months ago. It's really sad that we came to St. Vincent in these minutes, but at the same time, happily, that there's a joint venture of Venezuela, Palestine, and St. Vincent. 3 sister countries. We are going to help our devastated other sister country, Dominica, and hopefully we will be coming to visit the island and work in the island for other purposes and not for natural and such sad occasions.
Over the past few months, this country has seen somewhat of a leap in domestic violence-related incidences, 2 of which have resulted in death. In light of this, local librarian and social media activist Asbert Williams has set out to highlight the issue and find possible solutions on how to decrease and, if possible, eradicate the scourge from the Vincentian society. As part of this effort, he has planned a series of panel discussions to take place across the country. The first discussion forum was held last Saturday evening at the Stubbs Community Center, where a number of activists and community members shared their views on the issue. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
The first in a series of panel discussion held on Saturday evening at the Stubbs Community Center forms part of a fact-finding mission to learn how this nation can tackle the ongoing scourge of domestic violence. The initiative, which is a brainchild of librarian and social media activist Asbert Williams, heard presentation from a number of speakers who shared their views on how the issue can be tackled at a society level, calling for a moment of silence for the 2 women who have recently lost their lives as a result of domestic violence. President of the SVG Human Rights Association, Samantha Robertson, said domestic violence should not be tolerated under any circumstances.
So until we decide that we are going to be self-confident, self-reliant, independent, we are going to be subservient. So I want today to empower women and men who are being abused to be self-reliant. Look at you. Look in the mirror and say, I am what I am.
Noting that she is very passionate about the issue, lawyer Zita Barnwell spoke to the protection provisions of the 2015 Domestic Violence Act, which she deemed to be a serious and wonderful improvement to the laws which existed before.
So what's happening in our community? Why is it that the act doesn't work? It is not that the act doesn't work. As Samantha said before, we live in a cultural, the culture in which we live, people may not go forward with a matter. While we have the act, which offers the protection, the only how the act is going to protect you is if you engage it. If you are going to the police station and you are going to be brave enough and find the courage, of course we understand that you need a support system.
Area Representative and Minister of Gender Affairs Frederick Stevenson said there has to be a collective approach in tackling the issue of domestic violence.
As communities, we have to work collectively. As ministries, we have to work collectively. As a government, and all hands have to be on deck. Today it could be them, and tomorrow it could be you. We have to stand up for each other to ensure that St. Vincent and the Grenadines becomes a very safe nation where people would love to come to, and want to always be a part of.
Giving a look into the psychology behind domestic violence, featured speaker Dr. Joselle Miller said it is very important for persons to understand why someone would go through the hardship of being a victim of domestic violence.
And I will encourage every person to understand, have an open mind. Notice that if somebody is being abused and they remain, that there are other variables. So open your heart still and be there to help. Value yourself, because abusers generally, it's a low sense of self. Their self-esteem is very low, their self-confidence is very low, and because of that they want to make sure that they have other persons so imprisoned that they themselves feel a sense of superiority. And you need not make anybody treat you as inferior.
The domestic violence discussion is expected to take place in several communities across the country in the coming weeks and months. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Meanwhile, today many Vincentians joined with the Gender Affairs Division within the Ministry of National Mobilization, Social Development, Youth, the Family and Gender Affairs in observing Orange Day, a day of worldwide fraternity and understanding of the domestic violence phenomenon in promoting a Say No to Violence Against Women and Girls campaign by wearing the color orange. The 25th of every month has been designated Orange Day by the United Nations Secretary General's campaign Unite to End Violence Against Women to raise awareness and take action to end violence against women and girls. As they continue their efforts to improve the quality of education services here, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with UNICEF, hosted a Trainer of Trainers workshop in monitoring and evaluation earlier today, Monday, September 25th, at the Curriculum Unit. Noting that early childhood education plays a pivotal role in the educational process, Senior Education Officer in the Early Childhood Education Department, Gwyneth Cambridge, stressed the need to keep the early childhood education on the front burner.
This workshop was conceptualized by Miss Shelley Ann Harper, which would be the education specialist at UNICEF, who thought that because we would go sometimes to meetings and we were not able to get through all that we wanted, that this would be a good way for us to do so. So the aims of the workshop basically are threefold. One, it is to improve our early childhood centers. Secondly, is to equip youth facilitators with the skills of monitoring and evaluation. And thirdly, it is to identify what are the weak areas of operation in order for us to improve it.
Chief Education Officer Beverly Neptune outlined the increased attention paid to the subsector by the government and the NGO community, a partnership which has ensured access to quality education to the upcoming generation.
Certainly, monitoring, evaluating, and assessing provide the basis for decision making about the need for and the direction of change. The NGOs and the government must continue to work collaboratively, not only to provide early childhood education, but to ensure quality early childhood education, and to ensure that this quality must monitor, evaluate and assess the programs and the environments, and also make provisions for assessment of the children and the curriculum. Any monitoring and evaluation must focus on teacher quality, since the research shows that the teacher quality is one of the best indicators of a program's quality. It must be noted also that assessment provides parents, the educators, the families, the Ministry of Education with critical information about the child's development and growth.
Expressing gratitude to UNICEF for its continued support, Neptune reiterated the ministry's commitment to offering quality early childhood education services.
Training that you're going to be engaged in is a step in ensuring that more attention will be paid to preschools, conforming to those principles which guide practice to promote quality in education. We recognize that comprehensive monitoring and evaluation should be done annually. We recognize also that we do have some shortcomings, given our own terrain here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and sometimes the lack of the required manpower. This, I hope, will improve sooner rather than later. Don't be afraid to raise the issues and the questions and to clarify and to share your own experiences. In this room alone, you have nearly 400 years of teaching in early childhood education.
The second week of school in their significantly renovated school compound has brought new comfort for the students, teachers and staff of the Dorsetshire Hill Primary School. Welcoming the ambience of their new surroundings, the school has also embraced the initiative of the parliamentary representative Cecil Mackey in securing a range of items for their immediate use and greater comfort. Items donated include a mattress for the bed in the sick bay, 6 folding chairs to outfit the teacher's lunchroom, garbage receptacles for the classrooms and a clock. 2 netballs and a kit of netball outfits were also provided to the school to assist with their preparation for the West St. George Primary School's Development Netball Tournament, which is being done in conjunction with the Ashburton Sports and Cultural Organization, ASCO, which begins at the end of September. The area representative also pledged to provide the school with agricultural implements to get their agricultural program going, an initiative which he is also assisting with in the other 4 primary and 1 secondary schools in the constituency. 20 trainees attending the Beverly Technical Institute have been awarded with partial scholarships from the Mystique Charitable Foundation, the MCF. The total value of the scholarships, amounting to $26,000 US, will see trainees receiving 80% of the cost of their transportation where applicable, lunch portfolio development and registration fees. The project director of the Mystique Charitable Foundation, Lavinia Gunn, spoke on behalf of the foundation and encouraged the trainees to take their training seriously and to continue on the path of career development even after completing their program at Bartech. Gunn also used the opportunity to highlight the many contributions which the Mystique Charitable Foundation has made to the development of youth in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and noted the foundation's continued support to technical, vocational education and training. Principal of the Institute, Perlette Primus Hanway, expressed gratitude to the Mystique Charitable Foundation and challenged the recipients to use the assistance for the purpose for which it was intended. She reiterated that this partnership will be treated as a business arrangement and will demand of the awardees value for money, since they are being equipped with a skill so that they can become productive citizens, contributing to the overall economic development of their families and, by extension, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The trainees are currently pursuing training in one of 5 Level 1 Caribbean Vocational Qualifications program: data operations, commercial food preparation, food and drinks service, building construction, and garment production. It was a busy weekend for members of the RSVG police force, having to deal with the shooting death of 3 persons in separate incidents. Sheron Garraway tells us more in this report.
The shooting incident over the weekend period occurred around 11:30 last Friday night in the Casson Hill area, where 24-year-old Andrew Roberts of Otley Hall was killed in a reported botched hijacking. It is alleged that around 10 p.m., Roberts and another unknown male held up Dale Little of Paul over at gunpoint, where he was parked in his vehicle in the Richmond Hill area. The 2 men reportedly took control of Little's vehicle and placed him in the back seat, where he was beaten about his body with a gun. It is alleged that a struggle ensued in the Casson Hill area, and the 32-year-old Little was able to take the gun from the assailants. In the process, Andrew Roberts was shot and killed. The vehicle was crashed in the area, and the other assailant, who was driving, fled the scene. A relative of Little, who spoke to SVG-TV News, believed angels were looking over him, as he could have been killed in the process. The second shooting incident occurred around 10:30 p.m. in the Vermont area. According to police, Raphael O'Neill was on his way home when he was attacked by masked men. He sustained several gunshots about his body and died on the spot. O'Neill, also known as Snakey, was recently released from prison. His mother, Sylvina O'Neill, admitted to SVG-TV News that her son was a troubled youth and wished she could have done more to help guide him on the right track.
I can't even sleep. Some of the time I have sleepless night. I can't even eat because of his attitude and behavior. And when he leaves, he go out, go and smoke, run away from home, because I come to school. I come to the social welfare was to get them term at Liberty Lodge, because I know he would have become a better child still for all. But then he ran away from me.
On Saturday night in the Murray's Village area, 27-year-old hairdresser Keisha Melville, who was on her way home from doing a friend's hair, was attacked by masked men. She received a gun wound to the head and died on the spot. When our news team went to the area on Sunday morning, residents and relatives were hesitant to speak to us on camera about the incident. One relative who spoke off camera expressed concern that the young mother of 3 was keeping company with persons of questionable character. And the police are also investigating the death of 78-year-old Lionel Brother Ash, who was shot multiple times in the Otley Hall area last Thursday, the 21st of September, 2017. The elderly Taylor was a patient at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital in the intensive care unit and succumbed to his injuries today, September 25th. These incidents now bring to 28 the number of homicides for the year thus far. Sheron Garraway reporting for SVG Television News.
Head of the Police Criminal Investigation Department, the CID Superintendent Ruth Jacobs, said while there has been a spike in gun-related crimes here, the police are doing their best to arrest the situation and appeals for more support from the general public. In an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, SOP Jacobs was asked if she believes the recent incidents might be gang-related. She noted that they do not have evidence of such and that the public need to be more vigilant and report any activities which they believe may be suspicious.
We need all hands on deck. We need the public, we need the churches, we need the community leaders, and every other person to join and assist the police in covering the situation.
Do you believe that there are gangs in St. Vincent perpetrating crime?
We don't have the information that the incidents are gang-related incidents. As a matter of fact, my knowledge on gangs, I don't think we have gangs in St. Vincent. We have some groups with persons in different communities who might be involving themselves in certain things. But the definition of gangs, really, for my training, I don't think we have real gangs in St. Vincent. Mm-hmm. So I am not in a position to say that the incidents are gang-related incidents.
And Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves is calling on Vincentians to utilize more peaceful means in resolving conflicts with one another. He made the appeal as he spoke on WeFM today, expressing concern over the spate of killings which occurred over the weekend. The Prime Minister called on the populace to exercise restraint to resolve conflicts.
I have to, again, urge restraint on the part of people.
Yeah.
Some of the killings are absence of restraint killings. People just don't know how to solve their problems by peaceful means. Some of them are related to associational groupings, one set of people having some set of argument over this or that with another set of people. And of course, some have other nefarious purposes or causes, maybe drugs, it may be something connected to those sorts of things.